On everybody, we are going to start the day off with some drama. Apple may ban this app called Damus, and the reason that they're trying to ban the app, of course, Damus is very active on Twitter. Damus has to remove the zap button on posts because this is considered selling digital content. At least that's the way Apple sees it. And of course, Jack Dorsey, he's gonna respond, this is still incorrect. Tipping on posts is not selling digital content. It's a form of feedback. Why limit people? Blah, blah, blah. I think he has a point there. I don't think tipping is digital content, but then again, it's Apple, and any kind of monetary transactions going on within their app store, they're very picky about that. We know that from the Epic Games trial. So of course, Elon Musk has to give his 2 cents because he's everywhere nowadays. He says if Apple competes against the whole world, Apple will have the whole world against it. This is not a win scenario. Going on to the next story. As you all know, Apple just recently had their Worldwide Developers Conference, aka WWDC, aka DubDub. Developers got a lot of cool tools to work with, and anyone that's developing for Safari, Apple released a new Safari technology preview 172 with bug fixes and performance improvements. And some of those improvements include the web inspector, CSS, image set, rendering, editing, JavaScript, blah, 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 blah. If you are a web developer and you're developing for Safari, which Apple claims is the fastest browser, then you're having a good day. And I'm happy for you. But what I'm really happy about is this. macOS Sonoma boosts Mac gaming with game mode, lowers Bluetooth latency. I love gaming, and if I can game more on my Mac and not have to pay hundreds of dollars for game consoles anymore, I will gladly do that, and I support this movement. They released a game mode, and we're going to skip down and answer the question, what is game mode in Mac Sonoma, and what does it do? So, as you know, gaming is not really a thing on Macs. So Apple slowly but surely has been trying to push into that, and during WWDC they even invited Kojima on stage to talk about Death Stranding, which is not it's a graphically intensive game, and I'm sure a CPU intensive game, but it's not really a new game, but still cool nonetheless. That it shows that they have an interest. So the article says the new game mode aims to improve game frame rates by temporarily suspending certain system features and boosting others. Available in any game, game mode significantly cuts down audio and input latency over Bluetooth because every millisecond matters. When game mode is active, the operating system assigns the CPU and the GPU the highest priority to ensure other background tasks don't steal precious GPU cycles. It dramatically lowers AirPods latency, which I don't know if you guys have ever used AirPods while gaming. It's pretty bad. So I'm definitely eager to try that out, and significantly reduces input latency with Xbox and PlayStation controllers by doubling the Bluetooth sampling rate. If you can get Xbox Game Pass on Apple devices, like not just over the internet, I'm like in a native app, that would be incredible, especially because of one of their other announcements at WWDC, which we'll be getting into. But anyway, this is really cool. Excited for that. This is the announcement that if they get Game Pass for this headset, oh my god, it's going to be amazing. Anyway, at WWDC, Apple, as I'm sure you all know, announced their first new product category in quite some time, the Vision Pro, Apple Vision Pro. But there have been some weird things popping up. Apple files for a mysterious trademark, Apple Reality, in Europe, New Zealand, and more. So in January, Mark Gurman's sources pointed to the branding of Apple's headset likely being Apple Reality Pro. Now, we heard that a lot, but apparently Apple chose to pivot away from that. But they recently filed for patents. It was filed on the 9th, and WWDC was on the 5th. So they had already settled on the name Vision Pro. Why they would file for a patent for Apple Reality Pro, I don't know. Maybe that's the lesser version of this. Or maybe that's the glasses. Who knows? The verbiage associated with the trademark is too long for this report. The classes within the patent are 9, 38, and 42. So Class 9 covers all manner of hardware and including head-mounted displays like Apple Vision Pro, smart glasses, eyeglasses, eyeglass frames, 3D spectacles, virtual reality headsets, Apple TV, set-top box, contact lenses, blah, blah, blah. Class 38 basically covers broadcasting and transmission of voice, data, images, pretty much transmission of data wirelessly. And Class 42 basically covers the design and development of computer hardware, software, and peripherals, design and development of virtual and augmented reality hardware, software, and peripherals. So like, it's just interesting. It's just interesting, something to keep in mind. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw this name pop up at a later date, this Apple Reality. So yeah, that's something to keep an eye on. But the next story might explain this a little better. Oops. Huawei filed for the Vision Pro trademark in China back in 2019, which will likely force Apple to rebrand their headset. Apple competitor Huawei filed for the Vision Pro for their eyewear product line years ago. This is likely to force Apple to rebrand their headset. So maybe after the presentation and releasing the name for the branding Vision Pro, Huawei stepped forward and confronted Apple about that, and maybe Apple scrambled and went out and tried to trademark anything that they could pivot to. Not sure. We'll find out. Just an interesting thing to keep in mind. Also concerning the Vision Pro, Apple taps Chinese contract manufacturer Luxshare. Chinese electronics manufacturer Luxshare Precision Industry, a major supplier for AirPods for Apple, that has also won iPhone 15 orders, emerged as the assembler of the US tech giant's Vision Pro mixed reality headset. So we know who's going to be making this now. I mean, Luxshare is the main company that they mentioned, main supplier, but there are 6 other suppliers involved in this. But the interesting part about this article is right here. Wilson, XR meaning extended reality analysis, meanwhile, also found that the estimated BOM, that's bill of materials cost, of all components and materials used in the production of the Vision Pro headset totaled US $1,590, which is about less than half of the device's $3,499 retail price. Now that's interesting. I wonder how much profit that Apple is actually making on this. I wonder what the margin is, because even if they sell less of these than they sell iPhones, this could meaningfully contribute to their bottom line, and the stock price could shoot through the roof. Maybe not on the first go around, but if that number holds up and they're making around a 50% margin on it, that's incredible. And that as they scale this and make it smaller and cheaper, I'm sure the margins will stay similar. At present, Sony is only able to produce a maximum of 200,000 OLED OS displays, or 100,000 sets per quarter for Apple Vision Pro. Now, I don't know how many of you guys have been convinced by the presentation, or how many of you guys out there are planning on buying one of these, but it looks like they're going to be in really short supply. I know I'm going to try to buy one, not just for the channel. I'm genuinely curious about this device. I think this is incredible. I think a lot of the criticisms out there for it are weak, to say the least. Looks like there's not going to be a lot of them even that are able to be produced. So if you really want it, hop on it quickly. TSMC customers, Apple and Nvidia, will be the first to test 2nm process while the industry enters a race to deliver ultra-fine fabrication. Now, I thought this was super interesting because, as you guys know, M1 and M2, Apple's latest chips, are made on the 5nm process, and we haven't even seen chips on the 3nm process yet. But TSMC customers, Apple and Nvidia, are already in the running to be the first to test the 2nm processors. I'm telling you guys, these chips, and it's crazy because the things that the Apple Vision Pro can do seem insane, and that's still on the M2. That's still on a 5nm process. TSMC recently began preparations for trial production of 2nm products for Apple and Nvidia. Previously, Samsung Electronics began volume production of 3nm chips through a gate-all-around process in June 2022, 6 months ahead of TSMC, and a world first. Shocked by Samsung's preemptive strike, TSMC executives publicly revealed their plan for a 2nm process several times, triggering an ultra-fine fabrication race. This is super cool. I love to see this right here, this competition. I love the fact that apparently TSMC was shocked, because they are undoubtedly, I don't think many people would debate this, they're the world leader, and I don't want them getting too complacent and relaxed in their position. TSMC is also reportedly developing the technology to deliver power to the back of semiconductors with the goal of using it by 2026. I can't wait for the M3 with the 3nm process. Can't wait to see what Apple can do with this. This is going to be insane. Apple tiptoes towards a $3 trillion valuation. The world's largest private sector company, the first to hit the 1 trillion and 2 trillion valuation marks, may soon make history again. Apple stock is up by 41% year to date on strong earnings and excitement about AI opportunities for tech giants and expectations that the Fed is nearly done hoisting interest rates. This was a really cool graphic, just like showing Apple's insane growth. This is why I'm an Apple shareholder, and I truly believe in the company, and I want to buy more at every chance I can get. Apple slips from their record as UBS cuts rating on softer iPhone demand. And I've heard this a billion times. Almost every single quarter of every single year, people want to downgrade Apple, or not it's rare to downgrade Apple. They want to talk down Apple's price, their stock price and their price targets, because of weak iPhone demand, or weak this demand, or weak that demand. And every single time they come out, they might come in a little under, but it's always super impressive. If you have an iPhone 8 or 10, you need to upgrade right now. More or less what they're saying in this article. After Apple previewed iOS 17 last week, the company announced that the iPhone and iPhone 10 won't support the next operating system update. Once they stop supporting your phone, you kind of want to upgrade. You're going to be missing out on so many new features, especially a lot of the cool stuff that they came out with this year. Apple was granted 59 patents yesterday, covering spatial audio and possible future flexible and foldable displays. I thought this was super interesting because it opens up so many possibilities for what Apple could do. That could mean iPads, that could mean extra foldable Macs, phones, not to mention glasses. I really think that Apple is going to push hard into this augmented space, this augmented virtual reality space, and it's going to be the future. It's going to be the iPhone replacement, and the iPhone is going to be maybe like a side accessory, maybe something that will become more of a standalone camera system, because that's more or less what iPhones are. Their biggest upgrades every year are for the cameras, especially with this 3D video that they came out with the Vision Pro. If your iPhone can take that video, that's going to be incredible. But anyway, I thought this was cool. 59 patents. I'm not going to go into what all the patents are, but they get granted so many patents for so many cool things that we might never see the light of day on, but I think they're worth taking note of. Apple won 2 Project Titan patents today, covering Find My services, extending to vehicles and navigation sensors for autonomous vehicles. Super cool. Project Titan is the rumored Apple car that is supposed to be coming out sometime in 2027 or the 2030s at some point. I'm super excited about that. I'm not too focused on it right now. I think their vision product line is way more exciting than an Apple car is at the moment, but still, I welcome this news. This is incredible, and I want them to continue pushing further into that space. And yeah, that'll be it for today. Just some honorable mentions at this point. Apple TV Plus renews the sci-fi drama Silo. Apple might make a HomePod you activate just by looking at it. They go on to say, what if saying the phrase, hey, to activate your own HomePod, you only had to glance at it. Apple is considering this possibility and recently filed a patent for it. Apple Battersea, Apple's latest store, opens in stylish London location. There are over 40 Apple stores in the UK. The first was in London Regent Street, and this one is in South London in the redeveloped Battersea Power Station. But yeah, that'll be the end of this episode of Keep Up. I will see you guys in the next episode. Please hit the like button and subscribe for continuous coverage